Welcome everybody, Chef Katie May here for another episode of Delicious Living Live. We are live. There's just a little bit of a delay. So welcome, glad you're here with us again. We are making cookies today. So cardamom pumpkin cookies, perfect for the season. No sugar added, plus no oil or any of the other junk that's cookies. If you grew up with sugar cookies, leave those aside, put them aside, put the recipe aside, just get rid of it, and enjoy a whole food plant-based option instead. So there's going to be a lot more flavor here than what you're used to with those sugar cookies. But we got more flavor and more nutrients, so we're going to be nourished when we're eating these cookies. And they're going to come together super quick. So we've got a food processor here. This is the Cuisine. And let me know comments. If you guys have any questions, then leave your question with all caps in the front, the question, all caps in front of your question so I can easily see it. And our recipe, if you don't have the recipe, I emailed it out to our list today, but if you didn't get the recipe, then opt into our email list so you can get that recipe and enjoy these. In the description, there is the link to get the featured recipe, and that's always changing, but today it's these cookies. And you'll get all the future updates of all of our live shows and all the recipes. So first I have my dates and a little bit of water. We're going to pour this into the bowl here. You don't need the dates ahead of time, but if you have your mise en place all set up, ready to go, you might as well put the water in with the dates just to soften it up. Okay, and I'm going to do our recipe we're making here. This is what we're doing. Let's see. There's 6 dates. Oh, and for some reason this is blinking. I might need to update my app, but this is what we're doing. The 6 dates with a 1/4 cup of water, a teaspoon of ground chia seeds, cardamom. This is our spice, warming spice. But if you don't like cardamom, if it's a little bit too strong, you could just do cinnamon. Pumpkin spice would be really nice. And then we're going to do a pinch of ginger, just a little bit more or less depending on how much ginger you like. Again, you can leave that out if you'd rather have something else. Nutmeg, clove. And then we're going to process this until our dates are small little pieces. Not too small, but we want them broken up before we add any of the oats. Okay? Let's check our comments here. And if you'd rather not use dates, you can use more of another fruit or dried. Different than the banana, you wouldn't want to use the dates. You could use a dried fruit like figs or apricots, something like that. And we're going to open this up to bring down scrape sides, because there's not a lot in here. You could do this in a smaller food processor, but this works. And you can use other options for the banana too. I'll come back to that, Carol. So glad you guys are here. This is going to be a shorter class today because I've heard we're so busy and there's so much going on Thursdays, and what I really want you to do is have this recipe to take away. So in general, the Delicious Living Lives, I'm going to make a little bit more succinct so you guys get the recipe really quickly and can enjoy the rest of your night. But I love connecting with you here in the comments, so that would be fun, Fabian. All right, we're going to blend this again. And now our dates. Let's see, you can see a little bit closer here. We'll do, let's see if I can. See if you're my camera here, what view it gives you. So dates, important. They're little pieces, but it's not so good. And then we're going to add in our oats and our banana. And actually the recipe says you chop up the banana before the oats because you want the banana in little pieces, but you don't want the oats too blended. But you also don't want the banana too blended either. So we're just going to do it once. And our coconut here. Again, if you aren't interested in that, an option would be something like an apricot, plum, peaches. Thinking more seasonal, you could do orange. Orange is going to have a lot more juice. If you do an orange, you wouldn't want to add any extra water. With the dates, you just do that orange in the beginning with the dates. And apple as well. You could do pear. All of these different fruits, the texture varies so much that you'll just have to pay attention to that. And although the consistency with this cookie comes together, I guess is really flexible. Do a lot of different things and it won't affect the texture too much. Okay, so I'm going to process this again. We're using the pulse button so that we don't over process. Scrape down the sides. Oh, this is great. Cardamom Mary Jean is more floral. It's got a little bit of a citrus. It's kind of a citrus and a floral taste. So definitely more floral than your cinnamon or nutmeg, but both of them are warming spices. So they definitely work well with the winter season. Okay. So we have our mixture here. Looks pretty good. I'm just seeing if there's any large pieces I didn't get. Any pieces, we definitely have some of the dates, so they're not as large as like a chocolate chip, but they're definitely still pieces, and that's nice because you bite into a little bit of sweetness there. So I just want to make sure that I don't have any pieces that are too large. Okay, and it looks good. So we're going to pour this into our bowl here. Outside. And put this in here. And you see how quick that was. And I actually had all of these ingredients on hand. Didn't need to go to the store for anything. So if you guys are keeping a stocked plant-based pantry, this may be one dish you could actually make tonight if you wanted to, or even tomorrow for brunch, because all of the ingredients in here are health promoting and nourishing. It's just a matter of what your goals are and where your weight is and everything. But these are a fantastic dish if you have kids or anyone that needs to gain weight. This is actually a great way to get them having more calories in their diet while not giving them too much fat or too much sugar or too much too much of any nutrient. It's a really balanced nutrients with the pumpkin seeds and everything. It's a great. So the recipe again, Martha, if you haven't gotten the recipe yet, go to the description for this video and you'll see a link to join our list, and the recipe will be sent to you immediately. So if anyone is watching the replay of this and is opting into that email list, you might get this specific recipe, but you can also find it on our blog. If you go to theculinarygym.com and search a site at the top in the navigation, there's an icon, search icon, and you can type in cardamom or pumpkin seed and you'll find these cookies. So they're going to be very tasty. We're just going to make, I think we can cook a little more or less depending on your size, but I make these I take about 2 tablespoons of the dough, the batter here, and roll them in little balls. And then I like to flatten them out a little bit so they kind of look like little hockey pucks. And the coconut flakes could be left out. definitely. They give a little bit of flavor, of course, a little bit of fattiness, but mainly it's the flavor. So if you want to leave the coconut flakes out, just do a little of coconut extract. That would be my go-to choice. And you might want to add a little bit of flaxseed or chia seed because the the substance of the coconut, it adds a little bit to it and soaks up some of the moisture. So if you left the coconut out, you just might not want to add as much water. You replace the coconut with a fat like the chia seed or flaxseed, which would actually give you even more nutrition with the omega-3 fats. Question, do the cookies spread? No, they actually don't, and I'm going to show you our finished product. We've got a magic oven today, so you'll be seeing these in just a moment. And the cookies don't spread out, so you can make them really close together. And like I said, this only makes 10, so if you want more, if you like cookies, if you like having something in hand that is a little bit richer, because when we're eating a whole food plant-based diet, the food is amazing. It's just so delicious, but it can take, you know, some time to prepare a meal. Sometimes it's only 10-15 minutes depending on what you're making. And sometimes you have to snack, you need something, and so the option. But if that's the way you use it, then I would store them in the freezer. So make a batch and puff them up like this, right? And then put them into the freezer, and then you can pull out whenever you need a treat and put it in the oven, or like an air, if you have a little convection oven, a little toaster, or even an air fryer. I wonder what these would be like in the air fryer. Maybe I'll try that today. So, and yeah, once you freeze them, I would freeze them flat or with parchment paper in between so that they're not freezing together. Once they're frozen though, you can then put them into another container, a plastic bag, or preferably a container. So I've got a little bit extra here. I'm just going to pat it onto these rather than make another tiny one. We'll just make these a little bit bigger. And into the oven. Oh, thanks Fabian for letting me know. I've plant-based Angelas, I'll have to check them out. I wonder if they're a local meetup group. I would love, I can't wait till we have local meetups here in Kitsap Peninsula. So we have our cookies going right into the oven. Okay. Little extra dough here. And I have oats in them. I have not done this with another grain, but I am curious to try it out with another grain. I don't know what would work, but I'm tempted to try actually some cooked grain, because I don't know another raw grain that would go well here. But being allergic to oats, I'm curious what it'd be like with cooked grain. Okay, in the oven. That was 375 for 20 minutes. And here we have our cookies all finished. So these little hockey pucks, they didn't spread whatsoever. Hockey pucks, maybe not a great depiction. These are so tasty. You see a little, give you a view again here. And I can smell coconut. The cookies can be frozen prior to baking. You could freeze them afterwards, but honestly, I would never freeze a cookie if I was planned ahead of time. I don't recommend freezing this after cooking completely, because then you would want to reheat them, re-warm them up, and they're not going to have the same consistency, same flavor. So either cook them as the little round balls that you shape and freeze them that way, or make them into the balls and cook them halfway, just for 10 minutes, and then let them cool down and freeze them that way. That would be the best, so that when you had to reheat them or you wanted something quick and you pulling them out of the freezer, you could cook them a lot faster, half the time. Yes, Rainy, that's what I was going to do. So you can see it's all up. You can see over here, but again, let's do so nice and dry in the middle. If you add too much fruit, banana, you end up with more moisture. Banana doesn't do well with baked. It doesn't dry out very much, so only one banana here worked well. But if you were to more like I have with my banana blueberry bars, I think there's like 3 bananas in the banana blueberry bar recipe, and it is fantastic, but it's a lot more moist. So just since I mentioned it, it is a fantastic recipe, and same for kids, anyone looking to gain weight, or if you just need a healthy treat to keep you away from all of the holiday sugar-rich goodies, then definitely check banana blueberry cookies, pumpkin seed cardamom cookies, and my fruit and spice cookies are also a fantastic option. And those are actually my grandmother's cookie recipe, twisted up into a plant-based version, but super, super tasty. The fruit and spice cookies. Again, all of these recipes you can find on the culinarygym.com if you search homepage. Okay, so sorry about the audio if it's in and out. I'm not sure what's happening there, but we're all done. This came together super quick. If you guys have any more questions, leave them below the video and I'll try to answer them after the show if any come in. Otherwise, you can email me support@theculinarygym.com. And I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. We'll be back next week with another episode of Delicious Living to help you live with more flavor, vitality, and joy. Thank you, everyone.